single engine, high performance. I'm not clicking on. Anyway, I want it. That's the backward one, I think. There's a P40. It was the best Uncle Sam had at the time. It wasn't as good as the Germans had. It was somewhat second rate to even the Spitfire in Britain. But I didn't know where I was going to go, but before I graduated and got my pilot's wings in advanced training in the Southeast Training Command, I went into Clinton Country in Arkansas for my primary training in a little low-wing PT-19 single-engine open cockpit with a civilian instructor who was mad at everybody because he didn't want to teach. He wanted to go into combat and fly. But Uncle Sam took you by the horns, and if you wanted to fight, you could go to Crowbar Motel. I didn't want that either. Anyway, I managed to, under his instruction, after 5 hours of dual training, he crawled out and said, "Okay, fly." And I can remember a little grass field in southern Helena, Arkansas, flying under my own power the first time and coming around and landing. He was smart. He'd go over at the end of the runway in the grass field and listen to when you cut the throttle. If you cheated, put on any throttle, he chewed you out when you got home. So you can see how tough it was to learn to fly at that time. I managed fine, and in advanced training in a single engine, I wound up getting a chance to flying a P40. Guys in my class at that time, not able to handle extra horsepower, were killed in training. So it wasn't any small thing at that time. Wound up going to Sarasota, Florida, a beautiful little town on the west side of the peninsula of Florida, and flying P40s. Everything went well. I graduated, and I have a little emblem on my hat that shows that I was an expert marksman with guns in the airplane. I can remember the tow plane, an old C-47 twin engine, towing a target coming down the beach at about 8,000 feet. I'm going the opposite direction in order to teach us how to make a coordinated turn and come in on this target and fire on it and dive under it, come back around and do it again. I was pretty good. I shot the tow rope right in two on my first pass, put enough colored bullets in the target that I got to be expert. They put paint on the projectile on the bullet, and if that bullet went through the target, it would leave a colored mark that they could count. That's how they scored you. So, I'm a fighter pilot. They didn't want too many fighter pilots. They hadn't killed as many. So consequently, the rumors at that time were that they were going to have B-24 learning. That meant that a nice single engine boy that wanted to be alone was going to be wound up teaching to be a bomber pilot. I had no ambition for it, whatever. scared of it, not scared, just didn't like the idea of a big old barn waiting to get shot at. So I volunteered, which is a no-no in the service, to take on an unknown idea for a group that had already been formed, and we're in Salinas, California, 2 weeks away from going overseas. Little did I know what I was getting into. It was a P-40 group that were advanced enough to try to make the P-40 a dive bomber, and we were headed for the Pacific. I wound up on board a ship with 8,000 of us on a troop ship that was a Dutch luxury liner that managed to evade Hitler, and we were aboard this thing with half of us black soldiers. I joined this group because 2 pilots had met the wrong ladies and managed to get the VD and had to stay home and miss their overseas call with their group. And I'm a replacement pilot. So you can feel like it would be like you guys having a graduating class here, and at the last week of being ready to go into training, you would be wound up the young boy on the group. Hey, I'll fit in if you'll accept me. Well, I wound up enjoying them and going overseas. Here is our route. If you'll look up there from the United States, that was San Francisco. We sailed out under the Golden Gate, headed south, zigzagging all the way, had to put into New Zealand for fuel. The ship didn't have enough storage on it that they had to get more oil in the boilers to go on. We wound up in the middle of one day in New Zealand and getting fuel, and then advancing on another couple of days to wind up, after 19 days aboard, into Australia, and landing, being put out into about 10 miles of mud way out in the boonies, and taking on more shots, and a thing called Atabrin, which was a yellow pill that we were given to try to throw off the idea of malaria. It didn't keep you from getting it, but it tried to ease it a little bit. We turned yellow. In the back row up here is a yellow jacket. We were as yellow as that. Stand up back there, my dear, and give us a look at your yellow jacket. That's what we look like in our skin. We had to get our P-40s, get them ready for flight, get the engine checking out, get the guns aimed, and we were going to go north into a place called New Guinea. If you look here on this map, see if I can get the arrow going. Here's where we were. We go north into this area of Australia, and there is New Guinea. This area here is called the Coral Sea, and there was an early Navy battle there where we lost a couple of ships, but we did some real damage to the Japanese Navy, and it was one of the early combats. It helped set our ideas that we could win this war. I wound up in the middle of that island of New Guinea, which comes down through here from Japan, down, down, down. The Japanese wanted it, and they wanted all of Australia. And they had made inroads to the point of actually putting people into North Australia. A few stragglers got in, and were either killed or captured. But that's what they wanted, and they were after the raw material that they were so short of. Oil, rubber, all of the foodstuffs. So the war was just turning around, and we became part of the force. I was called the 5th Air Force, 312th Bomb Group, and from my P-40, I was immediately turned into an attack bomber, which was on the previous. See if I can find it here. No, that's going the wrong way. If you'll see this target here, this was practicing before I joined them with this P-40, the A-20 built in Long Beach, Douglas, was a single fighter, single pilot, low-level attack bomber that carried 4 500-pound bombs, and we pioneered the use of a thing called a parachute bombs. The reason being that when you're at 50 to 100 feet or less, treetops, going at 300 plus miles an hour, and you drop a bomb out of your bomb bay, when it hits the ground, it's doing the same speed you were, and if it exploded at that time, it would blow you up too. So we had fuses in the front of them to delay the explosion. We also, in order to keep them where they didn't bounce along the ground for a football field or two, we put parachutes on them. On my little airplane, I could carry some 75, 80 of these little small bomblets with a little parachute on, and they work like a Kleenex box, where one pulled the next one. And we could fly down in a formation over a Japanese-held airfield or area of bivouac and drop these things. They would float down and cut the grass, including whatever was there. Fuel, airplanes, sleeping quarters, buildings. It worked real well.